Hey everybody, what's up? It's Cody from PackPullers, and for the better part of 30 years now, I've been playing tabletop card games. I played everything from the monoliths of Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! To some of the more obscure titles like Genesis Battle of Champions. I've seen the rise of newcomers to the genre like Flesh and Blood, who's exploded in popularity for good reason, one of my personal favorites. And I've seen the fall of some of my favorite IPs trying to make their way in, like the World of Warcraft card game. I've spent countless hours mastering my craft at Triple Triad and Final Fantasy VII, only to be starkly reminded of how bad I am when Final Fantasy XIV rolled around. So today, I'd like to tell you guys my final thoughts on Sorcery Contested Realm and why I think it's going to be the next big card game. Let's get into it. So, when we talk about what makes a card game great, I don't think we can even begin to have the discussion if we're not talking about art. What is a card game if I don't enjoy looking at my cards? And we've seen a lot of pretty cards from other games. And I'm not talking about foils. I'm not talking about Flesh and Blood blew me away with cold foils, right? That is a wonderful experience to pull. But I'm talking about the art and the design of the card itself. And with industry icons like Dan Seagraves, Liz Danforth, and one of my personal favorites, Brian Smith, creating hand-painted masterpieces, this has given a new standard for what a card game should look like and a feeling that I should have whenever I'm pulling cards. Number 2 on my list of reasons is going to be the overall gameplay and game design. So number 1, how does it feel to look at the card? Number 2, how does it feel to play the card? I think we can all agree that these are probably the 2 most important factors when playing or selecting our new tabletop card game, right? And for me, Sorcery knocks it out of the park, right? On the outside, you may be looking at this and wondering, well, how exactly does it feel to play a card game on a 5x4 grid, right? Does that work? Does it translate well? And I can tell you from personal experience, now that I've had my evening of play at my local store, that it works beautifully. The execution on this is, I won't say perfect because nothing is perfection, but this is darn near close to perfection. And once you get a handle for the rules, you really start to see all these things come together and the magic of the tactile decisions that you have to make. Yes, I started with my deck building decisions. I started with deciding what colors I'm going to play, the types of land I'm going to put in, the thresholds, picking my avatar, picking my deck, my play style, all these different things. And now I've moved on to part 2 of the decision making, what cards I'm going to play. But we have entered a third dimension of decision making, and that is, how do I move my units around the board? How do I position myself, my character, my units, maybe my spellcasters, all these things, which leads to a beautiful culmination of decision making. And personally, I love it. And that leads us into number 3. And number 3 is kind of a 2-parter, and let me know if I'm cheating here. But we're going to say the low barrier to entry slash the high level of complexity at the end of a game, right? So if you come in and you see the start of a game, 2 characters on a board, putting down our sights, we're building up our mana. Maybe I'm going to play a, 2-cost card here, things like that. It's pretty easy to understand. You can get it. Oh, you can't play units on these empty spaces. You have to play land to get your mana, to play your cards. All of that makes sense. Well, if you come into a game 30 minutes later and you've never seen it before, you are going to be wildly confused. The way that the board state evolves throughout the game has absolutely hooked me. So I love starter products, and you guys have seen it. At this point, we've covered all the starter decks. You guys have heard me drone on and on about how you should buy the starter decks. That shows a low barrier to entry, because at our play night at my local store, most everybody was using the pre-constructed decks from the starter set. And it was awesome. They are wonderfully viable, great decks, well put together. They're meant to be added to, which makes sense, right? But to pick up and play and to start, it was perfection, right? I couldn't ask for a better starting experience for a new game. Now, we took those starter decks and this low barrier to entry and came up just with the craziest scenarios. I rolled a boulder, across the map to wipe out a bunch of units. I had all these burrowed units, and then my board got flooded, so all my burrowed units were, they drowned. Things like this is what makes this game so beautiful. So for number 3 on our list of why I think this game is going to be great is because it can reach a very wide audience of people with a low barrier to entry, but still have the level of strategic decision making and complexity that veteran players and all these people are going to love and enjoy, right? All right, and for our last entry here, number 4, I am going to say the community that surrounds Sorcery. I have been fortunate enough to be blessed with a local store that is filled with amazing people, right? As somebody who grew up playing Magic the Gathering, and any of you that played it can probably attest that I had some terrible experiences going to the mall and playing Friday Night Magic as a kid and a teenager, whether it was somebody trying to rip me off or not trying to help me learn, but to, college, just poor experiences. So I have been blessed with a store that does not have those issues whenever we're learning a new game, right? Past that, the people in the Discord, the community manager, all the folks surrounding Sorcery have been so wonderfully welcoming to not only just spread the word and the love of the game, but to help you understand, to help you get into it. Like, their goal is to get people to enjoy the game, not to make, $1 billion. Now, we understand they're a company, they need to make money, right? But part of this becomes, in my mind, comes from their design philosophy. And if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But I'm fairly certain that their plan at the moment is to release one set a year. One set, and if it's anything like beta, it's going to be a big set, right? 400 plus cards is a huge set. Anybody that plays card games, that is a big set. If Magic or Flesh and Blood or anything came out with a 400 card set every 3 months, that'd be rough. One set a year, 400 cards. I can't say that it's going to be 400 cards, but one set a year. And I think that will help this game reach new heights. For me, as somebody with a family, I got a wife, 2 kids, a full-time job. Like, I'm a very busy guy. And games like Magic the Gathering and Flesh and Blood fell by the wayside for me because I could not keep up competitively or financially. I just, I can't buy a case, every 3 months because a new set came out or whatever. Not saying that you have to buy a case to stay competitive, but you get what I'm saying. So the design philosophy of one set a year really speaks to me that, and I think that some people might have some concerns of the meta getting a little stale. If you don't have any new cards entering for a year, everybody's going to play the same decks. I don't know this. I don't have any authority to speak on this. I just feel that looking at these cards, playing all these characters, playing the different elements, there's so much stuff that's viable. This game has been designed so well that there is so much room for explorative deck building, right? New deck designs, messing with stuff. I just don't see the meta getting too stale within a year. And it could. There's always going to be something that's best, right? There are cards that are better than other cards. There are avatars that are better than other avatars. There's always going to be a best deck. And some people are always going to play the best deck. Looking at the cards, and from what I've played, I feel that we have so much freedom in deck building that we can stay fresh over the next year. And that's what I'm hoping for. But guys, this has been a new style of video. Don't expect too many of these because, boy, it has been rough getting through this, okay? But this is a new style of video, and I just wanted to talk to you guys and let you know why I'm so excited about this game. So please let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give me a like, give me a comment. Please subscribe if you haven't. These videos have reached a huge audience lately, which I'm so very thankful for. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. We like to talk about cards and card games. And there's going to be a lot of sorcery content coming up. I actually have a couple boxes sitting next to me that I'm about to start ripping open and getting into. But I want to say a very special thank you to our Patreon subscribers, Adam, Caleb, and Sam. You guys rock. We would not be here doing this video without you guys. I promise you that right now. I would not be recording this video. I would not still have this channel up without the three of you. So thank you all very much. And for everybody else, please have a wonderful holiday season. We just passed Thanksgiving, so Merry Christmas. And I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.